Hi, gun people. Well, this is pretty interesting. This cop does a pretty good job on most things, and it's a female cop. She's a veteran cop, got 20 or 22 years on the force. Suspect in a blue car, got in an argument at a grocery store or at some sort of store about a mask. He didn't think he should have to wear a mask. A 77-year-old man who was wearing a mask said, "Hey, why don't you have a mask on?" And they went out in the parking lot, argued. This guy pulled out a knife and stabbed the 77-year-old man. So that's why they're chasing this person. So let's see how the female quota hire did. Oh, wait, I forgot. Go change your pink panties. This video contains blah, blah, blah. Okay, so what did we see? If I just showed you this video and I asked everybody to write a witness statement right now without anything else, what would you have said you saw? Okay, and that almost guaranteed will be different than what I'm about to explain what I saw. Because our experiences and our observation skills are what we see and how we think things are different. Which is why if you're ever in a shooting, you don't want to talk to the police or give a statement, because if you do, you're going to say something you'll probably regret. But anyway, so my first issue is, why is she pulling this guy over? We know they put out an APB, all points bulletin, be on the lookout, BOLO, whatever you want to call it, whatever agencies are calling it now, the changes within agencies. Basically, they said this is the suspect vehicle. Just stabbed somebody, wanted for a stabbing. That is a violent armed offense. Normally, you want 2 officers doing this. So why did the quota hire take it upon herself to stop him by herself? To me, lack of experience, lack of knowledge, not good judgment. She has no reason, there is no exigency or emergency to stop this dude. He's been driving for 10 minutes. They've been looking for him. Why not follow him, call out other units? I'm telling him, here's where we're at, get me some additional units. This is going to be a felony stop. You're stopping a felony, violent, armed offender. You want a minimum of 2 people, preferably 3, on a felony stop like this. So why did she pull up, play hero, and stop by herself? Again, bad judgment, whatever you want to call it. Let's see here. So that's one thing that I saw when I initially saw it. I was like, why is she making a felony traffic stop on her own? Now, I know there's going to be people here who are going to be offended and say I'm picking on a cop. And they're going to come here and try to find every excuse to where I'm wrong. And I know the first thing they're going to say is, Rick, maybe she was just following it and it pulled over and it wasn't her fault and she wasn't intended. She had her lights and siren on. And who cares if he stops? You stop back here. Why get out of a car? Why go hands-on by yourself with an armed guy with a knife? Unless you want to set up a shooting. Unless you want to play hero. Unless you're stupid and you don't know any better. There's a lot of reasons on why you may do it. But there's no reason you should do it. This is what I call police forcing violent confrontation. This is when, see, they've interviewed suspects in prisons, and most suspects, violent offenders, always said, had the officer been more aware, had the officer looked like he was ready for me, had the officer looked like he was engaged in paying attention, I probably wouldn't have done what I did. So we know that. We also know that if you have multiple units, superior force, superior manpower, dominating force, dynamic force, when you do a dynamic entry and you go in, you significantly overpower the people in a home, your chances of survival is much better. Your chances of resistance is less. And if we know that, then why do we have lone cops forcing lone altercations one-on-one? Because some will say it's a lack of training. They need more training. You can't train a monkey to freaking do complex mathematics. It just does. I don't care how much training you want to do. The monkey's never going to figure out complex mathematics. Hell, most people can't figure it out. But it's not a training issue, people. It's an accountability. It's policy. You don't do things that are stupid and endanger other people and cause deadly force situations, or you will lose your job. You will go to jail. You will get charged. That's the problem, not training. Okay, so that's one thing. Why did she do it on her own? Second of all, when the guy pulled over, why didn't she stop at a distance? Why didn't she stay in her car? She could have put the car in reverse. There's no reason to get out of your car with a guy with a knife when you're by yourself. Now, do cops do this? Sure. Is it the best way? If and buts coconuts. I'm just giving you my opinion on why this guy maybe didn't need to die. Not that I care about this guy. I don't care if he gets killed. Rick, you should care. It's a human being. Look, I'm sorry. I'm being honest. I don't care. He stabbed some dude over a freaking mask. I got no problem with this guy getting shot. I got a problem with government learning that we can shoot people easily. We can set up situations to kill people and nobody cares because the stupid sheep will be like, who cares about this guy? I don't like the guy that got shot, so I don't care what government does. And then when they shoot somebody I do like, then I'll be upset. Well, then it's too freaking late. Look how close she gets. Why did she close this distance? Because I know there's going to be people where, Rick, it wasn't her fault. He pulled over. She can't pick. A lot of times we can't pick. So what? He pulls over. Well, Ricky may have won and she wanted to be close in case he ran. Why? You think she's going to shoot him in the back? She's justified in shooting him from the back. She knows he's committed a violent armed felony and now he's loose in the neighborhood and he's fleeing. He's a fleeing and violent felon. Legally, she could shoot him in the back. Morally, I'm not sure. If I shoot somebody in the back, it's going to be because I don't want them turning around shooting me, or I don't want them shooting other people and spraying and praying because I tell them I got a gun. I try to talk them down to it and do this stupid PC policing crap. But if this dude gets out and runs, so what? We put up a perimeter. We have additional units come. It's not the end of the world. This pulling up close, this macho Superman, I've got a badge and a gun and I'm protected. And then when it goes bad, oh shit, well, I'll just shoot somebody. Because of my poor decisions, I'll just shoot if I get in a jam. No big deal. I don't want pesky citizens to have a gun. And if a pesky citizen puts himself in a position where he has to shoot, he goes to prison. But government doesn't. That's my issue. People try and keep up. I got a bunch of idiots here. Well, you always taking the crook side. Oh, quit your crying, freaking idiots. I'm holding government accountable. Suspect gets out. Why did she get out? Why didn't she stay in her car? Why didn't she back up? Why didn't she create... If she created distance, maybe he would have got back in his car. Maybe he would have chased her in the car and she could have backed away. I mean, you're so much tactically safer in a car when you're not going against someone. Rick, maybe he had a gun. Yeah, maybe. Maybe he had a bazooka. Maybe he had air support. Maybe, yeah, you can justify what you want to say and protect the cop and polish the badge and go, oh, she did a great job. She was a female. Look at her. She wasn't afraid. She pulled up there and she pulled her gun and she shot him. She's a wonderful example of a strong, powerful female, Rick. She's government and she's using government authority to kill people. And it didn't have to happen this way. And again, I don't care that the guy got shot. So let's say she would have waited until she had multiple units and 3 units would have pulled him over. And he would have done this. Well, Rick, they all would have shot him. No, when you have 3 units, you can have somebody use non-lethal. You can shoot him with a rubber bullet. You can pull out a shotgun. You can have long guns. You can have more superior power. You have numbers. Maybe he would have thought more clearly. What do you think a guy that's running around stabbing a 77-year-old dude who's obviously a punk-ass predator, what do you think he thinks when he sees a lone female? He don't care about her. He don't care about his uniform. It emboldened him. It made him more likely to do what he did. Rick, you're blaming her and it's not even her fault. Shut up, you freaking crybabies. So the guy is not stupid. If you notice when he walks up, he's here and he knows she has an angle. This is a tactical move for him. He draws her in and moves over here to where he can get closer and use the car for cover. She doesn't realize that. She's too busy hollering commands and being Superwoman. Watch him. I'm using a car for cover. I'm getting closer. She can't shoot me while I'm getting closer. Now I'll move in front and I'll get really closer. So finally, she stays in her car. Now that she gets here, she gives up her car and starts backing away. Did she have a lot of options here? Maybe not. I mean, she could have jumped in her car. He could have broke the window. It's hard breaking a window. I mean, shit. You watch cops hitting them with batons and windows don't break. So car doors are pretty tough. Car windows are pretty tough. She could have gotten a car and locked the car and backed up. But that would be if and buts, coconuts, could have, would have, should have. She didn't, but she's out in the open now. So now she, and I say it's her, has set up a situation to where she doesn't have a lot of options. Before, she had options. She didn't have to get as close. She could have backed away. She could have waited. She could have followed. She could have not activated her lights and just followed him. She could have done a lot of things. She had a lot of options. Because she made this choice, now we're here. Now she doesn't have options. Some people will say that's a good thing. That's exactly what cops do when cops jump in front of cars and then say I had to shoot them because they were going to run me over. CHP is the master of this technique. They will jump in front of a car, endanger their lives, so they can say I was in fear of my life when he moved the car, so I shot to protect my life. It's freaking crazy. It's total bullshit. But anyway, here we go.
Drop the weapon!
Okay, so this guy's already closer than 21 feet. You don't want to mess around with edge weapons. Guys can close it. He's not even charging her hard. He's kind of skipping with his pink panties doing his, because he's used to dealing with 77-year-old men and females. So he's not even really charging her. He's not even really a meat eater here. Had he went at her full blast and charged her, he would have been on her probably before she got the first shot off. Because when you look at this woman, she ain't what I'd call Speedy Gonzalez when it comes to moving. Unless she's going to the refrigerator. She is a big woman who's eaten her fair share of donuts in her 22 years on a police force. So she can't move very fast. And he skip steps on her and still was able to grab her gun and get close enough to her. Okay, so right here, he grabs her gun, gets his hand on her, and he could have stabbed her. So he's not that aggressive. I mean, if he brought this hand around, started slashing, he could have cut her throat. So she's lucky here. She let this guy get on her and grab her freaking gun. She pulls up to a car scene where she has distance and safety, and she decreases the distance and she gets out of the car. Now she lets the guy get close enough to grab her gun. Well, Rick, if she would have shot him too soon, you would have said they were just being a bootleg and they just wanted to shoot, and she waited and now she's still wrong. Yeah, she is wrong. I mean, look, people, there's no perfect world. Shit happens. There's probably not going to be one incident where I say it's perfect and everybody did the perfect thing. They just don't happen that often. So you learn from these types of incidents by evaluating what you could have done better. What can we learn from this? One, don't screw around with people with knives. They are freaking dangerous. If they get close, they can screw you up even if you have a gun. This is a trained cop of 22 years of training, but Rick, she needs more training. She's got 22 years of training, and she lets a guy with a knife who's already stabbed somebody, she gets out of her car and allows this guy to get her hand on him. I mean, are you freaking... One person commented, hey man, here's a quote of her. She did really good. She did some things well. She shot. She cleared a malfunction. She shot and she survived. Okay, she did some things well. But there was a whole lot of things she did not do well. And I don't care if she was a man or a woman. I would give the same damn critique. This is about government setting up situations to where they're forced to shoot, and then government says it was a justified shooting. And when a citizen does this, they are going to jail, they're going to prison, they're bankrupt, they're hiring attorneys, they sit in prison for years, and they're treated like public enemy number one. That is my beef. Government should not be held to a different standard than citizens. They should be held to a higher standard. If we held citizens to a lower standard than cops because they don't have training, man, citizens could be out there shooting everybody. Because we let cops shoot just about anybody and we don't do anything. It's freaking bizarro land. It's upside down. Cops should not be given the benefit of the doubt. They're trained. They're trained by government taxpayers. They have lots of money. They are given protections, bulletproof vests, radios, backup, cars, bulletproof shields. They are given all the opportunity with money being no object that they don't have to pay for, and they're set up to succeed and to stop killing people. And yet they kill more people than anybody. And when a citizen does it who has no setup, no paid for training, nothing given to them by the government goes after them full force and tries to put them in prison and ruin their freaking life. That's the issue here, people.
Drop the weapon! Drop the weapon!
First round almost looks like she fires to the left. So you can watch when a round fires, the slide will go back here. And she's so panicking and out of shape and moving her little finger that it goes to the side. Maybe it's the second round that goes off to the side. Look at the gun barrel. The gun barrel is pointing here right now. She doesn't hit him because he doesn't stop. Because she lets him get too close. And now she's in what's called a panic shooting. And she's moving and shooting. And he's moving and shooting. And she's focusing on the knife so she doesn't get stabbed. And her little finger going back and forth, changing her grip. Bad habit. She's learned this at the range for 22 years. Who's ever her firearms instructor has should have told her that's a habit. I've done training videos out here on my ranch where I've had people shooting and I've told them, don't get in the habit of readjusting your grip every time. Maybe I didn't videotape it, but I've met people at the range and I've told them that. It looks cool. You see all these great professional trainers on YouTube doing it, changing their grip, readjusting their grip. It looks cool. It looks like the guy at the batter's box that has to fucking grab his shorts, adjust his underwear, adjust his crotch, spit, tighten up both gloves, readjust the Velcro after every swing. Looks cool, but in an actual situation where your life's in danger, it's not cool, people. She has learned to do this re-gripping every time she shoots, and she does it in the shooting. And I picked it up on the first shooting. I went, man, she's got some bad shooting habits nobody's ever corrected. All right, so I'm going to go back and try to...
Drop the weapon! Drop the weapon!
Okay. One round. I thought I saw readjust the grip. Guns pointed to the left. There's the second round. That one went straight in the dirt. I mean, hell, it might have hit here. It might have hit over here. Horrible shot. Why? Maybe it's her tattoo. Rick, you're tattooism. Look, I'm just saying. Maybe it's her watch band. Look. She's panicking. She let the guy get too close. She decreased the distance and got too close with her car. She tried to handle a situation by herself that she wasn't able or qualified to handle. I mean, she's in a panic mode. The only reason she survived is because she sprayed and prayed 10 rounds. This guy dies, and they don't say how many rounds she fired, and they don't say how many times she hit him. In my book, she's freaking lucky. If this guy would have been a real meat eater, he would have cut her up and she'd be dead. She may have shot him and killed him anyway, but she'd be dead if this guy was a real meat eater going for the kill on her. He's pussyfooting around. He doesn't have, my main objective is to get to your throat and stab this in your throat. He's got two knives. He's got a screwdriver in one hand and a knife in the other. And she's already let him get his freaking hand on the gun. Somehow I'm going to be the bad guy because I'm picking on her. So she shoots the ground here. Maybe there was a scorpion or a bug. Maybe she saw a spider. She wanted to take the spider out in the middle of a shooting. Because he gets his hand on the gun with a screwdriver, doesn't look like he shot here, people. She's already fired 2 or 3 rounds, and he's still got his hands on her. Luckily, he didn't take her gun and shoot her with it. Rick, she did great. You're just picking on her. Okay, whatever. Yeah, it's great. It's fantastic. Here's a good plan for all you people that want to take training from Miss Perfect. Next time a guy has a knife, go ahead and walk up to him, get close, let them put their hand on the gun, then see if you can live. That's a great plan. Why don't you do that? Okay? Unfreaking believable people going to come here and tell me that I'm picking on her. He gets his hands all over guns. Again, he's not stabbing or slashing at all, which he could have. If he wanted her, she would be gone. Oh, she's got her hand out. That always works. I do that on my horse. Women are great at this, at horse people. They hold their hand up like that to try to stop a 1,200-pound horse running at them. And then when they get knocked down, they're shocked. About like she's going to be shocked if he would have ran in and tried to stab her. Finger on the trigger, good, because she's shooting and engaging. It should be on the freaking trigger. Guy hasn't stabbed her yet. I don't know if she gets a shot off here. He does like a little, he's been doing kind of like a chicken dance the whole damn way. Scooting and doing, maybe he's dodging bullets. Maybe she shot him in a pinky toe. Maybe she watches my videos. And right here, she shot him in a pinky toe because she's been listening to some of the idiots saying, why do you have to shoot to kill? Why can't you shoot him in the foot or in the ankle or in the knee? Maybe that's what she's doing. She's trying to shoot his pinky toe off. Comes back on target. I don't even know how she was able to create this distance this much. This guy's not charging is my only thing. Comes up, take a two-handed grip again. I don't know why she wasn't shooting on the way up. Maybe this is where the gun jammed. Okay, I think she must have got him in a groin or stomach area here because this is where he kind of starts doing a little bit of chicken dance. The gun jams here, I think, because she's about to tap and rack. She does her tap. She puts her hand on there and then racks. Bad training. Somebody has not done tap and rack with her. When you tap, you go straight to the slide. Tap to the slide. Because she didn't do good training, maybe because she panicked, which happens. I mean, your mind goes into overdrive when you're in a shooting or any high-rise situation. She tapped and forgot to rack. She went to a tap and went to try and pull the trigger again without racking. Bad training. She probably pulled the trigger and went, shit, no gun, I forgot to rack. Takes her hand off the two-handed grip. Oh, shit, I'm going the wrong damn way. I'm sorry. I was like, why the hell is this thing going backwards? Shit. Let me go back to the tap and rack. Sorry. Tap, takes a grip. Tap, takes a grip. Thinks she doesn't have to rack. Then says, oh shit, it didn't work. I got to rack. Now she has to take her hand off and now go for a rack. This is flat out bad training. If I saw a guy do that on my range when I was training, I was like, why are you putting in a second step? You do not go to a two-handed grip until you tap and rack. When you tap and rack, your left hand hits the bottom of the pistol, seats the magazine, and goes straight to the slide. It does not go to a two-handed grip. Bad training. This is muscle memory. She's been on a force 22 years. Probably somebody didn't want to correct her. Probably they were afraid to be called sexist if they did correct her and saying they didn't like women, so they probably didn't correct her and they let her do what she did. This cost her time. This could have cost her life. Poor training. You'll do in an actual situation what you do in training. She goes to the rack. Rack's a good rack. I got no problem with a rack. I know somebody's going to make a crack over that. I don't even see her rack. I'm talking about the racking of the pistol. YouTube will be blocking it because I'm being sexist talking about a woman's rack. And then here's where she kind of unjustly, it looks like she unjustly mag dumps, but I think she shoots like 5 different rounds here. Now at first I was like, really? 5 rounds? But it does look like the guy is rearming himself here, picking up the knife. He's not stopped, and he's going to charge her again. So the rounds afterwards are probably justified. Of course, the whole shooting's going to be justified. The guy stabbed somebody and he came at her. I mean, she could do anything she wanted. She could have reloaded 14 mags and fired 57 rounds. And they would have went, she did a great job, no problem. The guy should have been shot, he was wrong. Although if a civilian did that, it was, you didn't need to shoot that many rounds. You should have stopped after 2. You didn't need to shoot that many. Your round ricocheted and hit a car. Therefore, you weren't safe. So we're going to charge you with discharging a firearm in a neighborhood, and you weren't responsible for your rounds. That's what they would do to a citizen who thinks she's going to... Raise your hand if you think she's going to get charged for damage that her other rounds that she missed. Okay.
down.
Okay, so I slowed down. I took this because I don't know if police activity did it because he's switching from here to the other scene. It's hard to count the rounds. So I got the original video here, and I slowed it down for the shooting so you could tell the shooting. So here's the rounds in very slow motion. Here we go. And this is probably how it looked and sounded to the officer. Okay, I think I counted 10 or 11 shots. Is that excessive? I'll do it at half speed because it's kind of a... Okay, the second volley I think was 5 or 6, and the first volley was 4 or 5. It's a lot of rounds. And again, they're not releasing whether or not she hit him 1 time, 2 times, or all rounds hit him. I'm telling you right now, all rounds did not hit this guy. If he was shot more than 3 times, I would be surprised if she fired 10. Okay, and again, I've always said cops' hit ratio is always less because we're usually behind the power curve, we're waiting for the suspect to act, and we're shooting in a panic. In this situation, we had plenty of time to get ready to act. We knew he was armed, and we could have started shooting from a safe position, and we didn't. We let him get too close, and we let him grab our gun. There was a little update from the news about this. This is where it happened, where he stabbed somebody. If you want to go look up the article, WILX.com. Right here, News 10. Here's the video footage of just from the house that I slowed down for you. Here's where a state trooper comes in to investigate, and he gives this little speech, which really doesn't say a whole bunch. And I forgot what that video said. But anyway, look, it's going to be justified. Was it perfect? No. Are any shootings perfect? No, probably not. You know, everything's cool and everybody's got a plan till the first shot whizzes by your head or the first shot's fired, whatever. Whatever saying you want to say, look, I get it. I'm not trying to be super, I would have done everything perfect. I'm trying to teach you things to think about and not set yourself up to lose a deadly force or a deadly encounter to where you could lose your life. If you listen and you learn and you think and you put these things in your tactical toolbox and you practice these things, they become second nature. They become muscle memory, and they will become reaction, and you don't have to think about it. And just like she did, very bad tap and rack, it was simply because nobody pointed it out and corrected her and said, you're setting yourself up to fail. That is a bad habit. And she's probably like, I've been doing this for 22 years. I don't need some damn firearms gun guy trying to tell me I don't know what I'm doing. Okay, whatever. All right, we'll end that there.